You would think that this would trigger major media scrutiny, especially given that former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak was documented as having visited Jeffrey Epstein's island and stayed at his apartment on multiple occasions. The former head of Israeli military intelligence and former defense minister Ehud Barak also told Epstein in a recorded audio,
"Sophisticated, subtle manner opened the gates from massive conversion into Judaism. It's a successful country, many will apply, but under the social pressure, the need, especially of the second generation, to adapt. Now we can be selective. And I think that with much more open kind of mind about turning Jew, we can easily absorb another million. I have to tell Putin always, what we need is not just 1 more million. He changed Israel. Many young handsome girls will come.
Convicted sex offender Epstein worked as a fixer for former Israeli Prime Minister and advised him to work with Palantir, which has played a significant role in military operations in the occupied territories and neighboring countries. The billionaire pedophile Epstein also funded the Friends of Israel Defense Forces organization, which is linked to the Israeli military, funded the Jewish National Fund settlement building in occupied Palestine, and other organizations that have indirect ties to Israel. Western media suspicion about the Epstein files and who was behind the exposed sex crimes and pedophilia involving people in power raised questions.
Wat zou de rol geweest kunnen zijn als Epstein als een soort spion voor de Russische geheime dienst heeft gefungeerd?
Nou, kijk, Epstein is een hele interessante man voor de Russen, want Epstein kent werkelijk iedereen.
And this isn't the first time that media shifts its bias when it comes to Israel and Russia. For example, Israel and Russia have bombed hospitals, which is a war crime under international law. The New York Times headline quotes Ukrainian President Zelensky and uses terms such as, quote, deadly barrage, quote, children hospital, and, quote, at least 40 missiles. However, when it comes to a bombardment at Nasser Hospital in Gaza, which nearly half of the population are children, they quote Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, quote, tragic mishap. After this article and backlash, they started an investigation. And this matters because Russia and Israel operate in similar ways. Where Russia has centralized state messaging via TV and social media, it is widely seen as propaganda. Through Hasbara, Hebrew for explanation, Israel has institutionalized state messaging under the banner of public diplomacy. They both shape domestic and international narrative through disinformation, misinformation, and strategic framing across official channels, media, and social platforms. Western media outlets tend to scrutinize Russian state narratives while often repeating Israeli government talking points without questioning it. They also closely investigate Russian influence, but is far less critical of Israeli lobbying, even when money and political ties are clearly documented. Russia frames violence as a, quote, special military operation to protect Russian speakers and fighting radical nationalists. Israel frames violence as, quote, self-defense, security necessity, and anti-Semitism. Both flood with information, with contradictory narratives. They confuse, exhaust, and undermine trust in facts. Russian influence is often explained through energy dependence, trade leverage, security threats, and allegation of compromise, shaping political compliance. Yet the European Union is resisting. And Israel's influence is intelligence sharing, cyber and surveillance, tech export and security partnerships. And criticism has a diplomatic cost. This is not about accusing Russia or Israel. It's about equal standards. When media frameworks shift depending on the country involved, it not only signals inconsistency, but also bad journalism. When the standard shifts, power decides the frame, and the public is left arguing over sides instead of asking important questions. Like, why isn't the world angrier about the Epstein files revealing about politics, misogyny, sex, and child abuse?